and my mama sit at the kitchen table. Bills piled like paperweights on top of dreams of being successful. She'd say, "You can't be like me. You've got to make money and be happy." I took her words to heart. When I was 12, I sold candy to my classmates. Had a bag full of Airheads and blow pops sold for 50 cents each. When I got caught, the only thing I could think of was the $20 I had made that day. Not even suspension could keep me from making my money. My mother said I had to be happy. I considered doing it all. Dope girl, show girl, I'd be your girl if you got that dope.
Hey.
Anything to give me $1 in a dream, and a world with $1 is the dream. The only face I need to save with the Jacksons and Franklins. They say money is the root of all evil. I said, screw that bitch and we'll have something positive. I think it's better anyway. I became hustler before I became lady. Only greenback bills can save me, and the only time I felt green with jealousy was when my eyes reflected the cash in someone else's hand. You want to know how you come to worship money. Your taste buds move to your fingertips. You smell for it in every nook and cranny, like a dogma that controls every part of your conscience. And verses of rap songs become repeated soliloquies in the corners of your mind. So if money's over everything, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. So give me money or give me the graveyard. Because liberty is only enjoyed by those who can pay to keep themselves free. Those who can afford to say money can't buy happiness have never had the hunger suck the smile from their lips. When poverty extends far beyond the corners of your empty wallet, it becomes a lesion on your brain that controls how you think and what you breathe for every morning. You truly know what it feels like to have money on your mind. But when you look for dollar signs in every opportunity, you don't notice when the money in your pocket burns holes through your soul. When you're too busy tugging at your own bootstraps, you don't notice the rich who are choking on their silver spoons. When you place a dollar amount on priceless gems, you mistake them to be replaceable. When the only scripture you think you know is "In God we trust," faithful promises fall on deaf ears. You're running so fast while chasing the paper that life becomes a blur. And you don't see or hear or feel. You just desperately want to be happy.
Yes.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Going to the exes.
That's a body bag.
Okay.
We're now at our intermission. If you'll look in your program and look to your right, at the bottom, there are lines. Does anyone, this looks like a program that you get at church, right? Okay. Well, anyway, we'd like you to write down a few of your thoughts, maybe even a short poem. If you'd like to submit them, we'll be collecting them at, the end of the program. But please enjoy.
You got a pencil. You got a
My goddess has auburn hair and laugh lines. She wears a glittering crown in her eyes, shimmering jewels in her smile, and the stories she tells are fairy tales weaved in her dreams. She and her lover seem to share eternal youth, remaining young in their beauty and thought as they collect treasures and memories over time, amassing them for future generations to gaze on with wonder. I've worshipped her since I was small, gazing up at her image with an envy of her beauty, her happiness spilling out of her laughter with an ease I've never found. She walks with a brisk gracefulness that keeps pace with setting suns. She is the spirit of patience and love, and her temple resonates with a comfort I've never forgotten. My goddess built her temple in West Lafayette, Indiana. Her flowing robes are old t-shirts and jeans, feet laced with tennis shoes, hair wrapped in an elastic band for 7-mile walks after work before nightfall. Her hands are small, But they never failed at holding me close when I'm scared or creating elaborate meals late into the night. I prayed to her kindness. Her emotions encompassing all the ones I refuse to reveal, she carries the baggage of 3 other people, all too scared to show affection. She hides pain and sickness so we won't get scared, only cries publicly of happiness or love. My mother is the goddess I never read about in books. Never heard about in stories, never watched in Disney movies, because her being is so perfect that it seems more of a myth than myths themselves. My mother is my Olympus, because she houses so much power in one place, even though it seems like she could break, crumble, even though her foundation seems sturdy. And I see her in the bathroom plucking gray hairs from her skull and pinching the pudge of skin from where she housed 2 children. And I see a hollowness in her eyes from the insecurities trampling across her soul. But stars can't identify your every imperfection. They only see the beams of light igniting your soul, the fire in your veins that makes you worthy enough to join them in the constellations. And my mother has had a chosen place on Orion's belt since the day her fiery hair caught the sight of Zeus from the heavens. But she doesn't know that I can see the galaxies in her eyes, that she becomes my Medusa when she's sad because her teary-eyed gazes turn me to stone, or my Athena when I need a general in the wars I have against myself. She carries happiness in her voice, lifts fear from my shoulders. She is my favorite bedtime story. So when people say that God doesn't exist, I ask them if they've met my mother.
Can you hold this right quick? I gotta fold my paper. No. Like, hold it.
Your rings on the floor.
Yeah, that right there. It's like. I could tell from the. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna get it then.
Well, I go get it then.
Out of the fear of sounding blasphemous, I dare to ponder the unquestionable.
Dare to shake the foundations of my faith,
And gently pluck steadfast beliefs from the security of my conscience,
the corners of my heart your questions, that I dare not utter.
for fear that years of locking my knees and folding my hands in submission to God would be in vain.
You may hate me because I call myself Christian,
Muslim,
Jewish,
because my religion remains the path of paradox for peace, was whipped into the pores of an entire race.
strap-ticking vest to the chest of child martyrs,
claims to be the chosen ones in snobbish disregard,
As if the history of your worship is not stained red with selfish doctrine. But I will not stand here and challenge the morality of your faith.
I simply dare to question the unquestionable.
What if your God and my God are the same? Better yet, what if your God and my God are friends?
You think the universe can't extend beyond the fingertips of your imagination.
You can't think that love can't extend outside the 4 corners of your church.
Don't believe the truth remains beyond the pages of your Quran.
You fold your knees in front of a wooden table that feasts on unanswered prayers.
Call it an altar, but treat it like a rubber stamp for a hallowed sin.
You are so busy telling others how to love that you forget love is a synonym for the same entity you worship. You see, I bet our gods wept together during the Crusades.
And their angels had to physically restrain Jesus from coming back early during the Holocaust.
I bet
Not one of them condones destruction at the hands of hate.
nor breeds bigotry in the credo of oppressors. I'm think my God gives yours a high five every time a Muslim and a Jew marry.
And they make wagers on which religious path their offspring will choose, even though each leads to the same salvation.
I imagine our gods sit at curly-hue tables and discuss who will show themselves next.
I bet they are impatiently waiting
For us to stop ripping each other apart.
And when we finally stop praying to our own shadows and realize that's the only thing that's hiding from the light.
When we finally realize that time has a way of losing the truth.
Like loose change in between the cushions of unrecorded years.
When we finally accept that God, whichever one he may be, cares more about the soft murmurs in our heart, telling us to marinate in love.
Rather than the judgmental ideals urging us to strike pain.
Acknowledge that.
Pain and love are opponents
that cannot thrive together.
Then we will find that we can bring ourselves a bit of earthly salvation.